So we are getting about 5 kabajillion new releases from Hawas. I'm trying to keep up, but it's hard. I'm just focusing on the female DNAs though, so it's a little bit easier for me. I don't know what's going on over there. But most importantly, let's talk about one of their new releases called Glitz. I am quite impressed with this fragrance. So Glitz is supposed to be inspired by the Amouge Guidance 46. Now, Amouge Guidance 46 is one of the most iconic fragrances ever and a very polarizing and controversial DNA. It can have a very, I would say, like musky, animalic type of vibe to it, which to some people is off-putting. To me, at times, it's off-putting. But at the same time, it has this like beautiful, delicious gourmand with rose. It's a very, very complex, fascinating scent, originally created by Quentin Beach. And I would say, even if you don't like it, should be respected as a masterpiece, in my opinion. So with that all being said, I think it can be a hard fragrance to dupe properly. And Hawas Glitz is the first fragrance that I have smelled for Amouage Guidance 46 that I would say is fantastic. And I'm really, really happy to have this one because of the price point of Amouage Guidance 46. I think we're talking $550 if you go directly to their website. With me being on the fence about the DNA, like I like it, I want to have it in my collection, but at the same time, there are so many other fragrances that I love that are easier buys for me than a $550 fragrance that I'm like wish-washy on. So I'm happy to have a fragrance that is way more affordable, but smells really good in terms of that DNA. So anyways, Hawas Glitz. If you look up the notes for Hawas Glitz, there are like 2 different note breakdowns that are floating around. One of them is this super gourmand, delicious looking breakdown of like cotton candy and all that. That's not the note breakdown. I'm giving you the one that I got directly from the source that is supposed to have, you know, the florals and everything in there, and sounds like it would be way more in alignment with what an Amouage Guidance 46 dupe should smell like. So if you've never smelled Amouage Guidance 46, this is not a safe blind DNA, again, for all the reasons that I mentioned. And so far, everyone that I've spoken to on TikTok who has purchased this fragrance, there's only been one person who's told me they didn't like it. And when I asked them, oh, you don't like Hawas Glitz, have you smelled the original DNA? They said no. And I said, okay, that's probably why, because this DNA is not a safe blind buy. I'm not even sure how to describe it aside from it being a little sweet, a little gourmand, a little floral. But again, you get a very animalic type of vibe to it. It's for sure going to be very nutty and rosy. I get like a nutty rose with like a musky animalic vibe. Beast mode performance. What I love about this fragrance is the performance. The fact that it smells close to the original, I would say, not as intense as the original Amouage Guidance 46, like a little sweetened up a little bit, like it was trying to be created to be a bit more, like friendly for the masses. So not as intense, but very close to the original if you are trying to capture that overall DNA, in my opinion. But the performance on this is fantastic. I'm talking all day wear, at least 8 hours of wear with this fragrance. And when I've compared it to another fragrance that I recently scooped up for Amouage Guidance 46, Zamaya's Eden, no. And I've had this for months now, so it's had time to sit. And this is still like a pathetic dupe for Amouage Guidance to me. It is so soft. It is so lacking in the intensity and like beast modiness that is Amouage Guidance 46 that makes it Amouage Guidance 46. And I'm just so happy that this has gotten so much closer to that DNA. Now, there's one thing that people may not like about this fragrance, which I would understand, the price point. This is not a $20, $30, $40 dupe. This is running for about $60 or $70 on TikTok. Now, I've heard mixed feelings on how, people feel about that. Some people feel that this fragrance being high quality, smelling similar to the original DNA of a fragrance that will cost you $550, you're still getting a good deal. Other people feel like I would never spend more than 20, 30, 40, whatever dollars for a dupe. I would say for me personally, because I've always struggled with wanting to spend $550 for the original fragrance because, again, I'm not 100% in love with the DNA all the time for that price point, this to me is a good option. Normally, I would not be excited about spending that much on a dupe. Like, if it's a fragrance that I can get, from like fragrance.net at a cheaper price point and that dupe cost is like half of the price point, I'm not excited about spending that on it. But because we're talking about Amouge Guidance 46, and because the other dupes that are cheaper, like the Zamaya Eden one that I just showed you, to me don't come close to creating the original fragrance, then this one is worth it for me because I don't think I'll ever buy the original Amouge Guidance 46. I would never save up for it, but I do want that DNA in my collection. So this one was okay for me, but I would understand if other people feel like, hell no, am I spending about 70 bucks for a dupe? So let me know what you guys think about that. Big fan of this. A few people have asked me my thoughts on Glitz. I think it's beautiful. I also love the bottle design with the gold flecks. Very, very pretty, very, very classy. So if you have tried Glitz, or if you plan to try Glitz, let me know what you think. If you have tried other Amouge Guidance 46 dupes that you think are phenomenal and are even cheaper than this one, please let me know what those are. I'd love to try those out. And I will see you guys back tomorrow for our next episode.